comparison to other cases. Deirdre said, "Any missing person or child deserves all the publicity that they can be given. People looked at us as if we were scum from Peckham because we don't live in a posh house and because our children had problems." Carmel's mother spent years wandering around the streets of Brixton, Stockwell and Peckham searching for her daughter, unfortunately without success. Deirdre Fenech says that she believes the police did not do enough to find Carmel because she was just another addict, a troubled teenager with a drug problem. That really is not acceptable. Sussex police said that Carmel's case has not been forgotten and that back in 2015, where Chris found his mother's body, Julia had been beaten to death. It was reported that Julia would never had ventured into the woods when walking Rosie, mainly because of drug dealers. Even if Rosie went in, Julia would wait for her to come out. So why, on this occasion, did Julia go into the woods? Maybe she went in to look for Rosie. Was someone holding Rosie in the woods? Did someone drag Julia into the woods? This remains unknown. Police appealed on the TV show Crime Watch to locate several people of interest. On the day Julia was murdered, a lady was returning from work along Chester Road at approximately 3:15 p.m. As she approached the junction with Weaverham Road, she noticed a man walking toward her. He was in his 60s, with a red walking stick. She saw that the handle was interwoven, polished and dark red. Another witness said he was walking his dog along Kennel Lane when he saw a silver Ford Orion car pull into a lay-by. The driver got out of the car and walked towards him as though he was going to say something, but as he approached, he walked straight past. The man walked down the lane, looked into the trees, and then turned around and returned to his car. He was in his 30s, about 5'6" to 7", and he had a stubbly beard, dark-skinned, and dark hair. He was of medium build and was wearing a beige padded body warmer and blue jeans. The man walking his dog thought that this man looked suspicious. Police also appealed to find the driver of a dark blue Vauxhall Cavalier that had been seen parked on Kennel Lane on several occasions. The car had dog crates in the back, so police think this may be a dog walker, as the lane and woods are popular dog walking areas. A male was also seen running on Dalefords Lane at around 3:50 p.m. on the day that Julie was killed. He was about 20 years of age, had short hair, and wore a dark shirt and jeans. The witness said that he looked agitated and was carrying something in his hand, but he could not see it. It is unclear if any of these men were ever located. Police could not identify a motive. However, they thought it could have been drug-related due to the number of syringes around Kennel Lane or a robbery gone wrong. Julie was not carrying anything of value, and nothing was stolen from her. Julia had been beaten to death with a blunt instrument, with the fatal blows to her head. The Daily Mirror wrote on Monday, the 27th of July 1998, that Rose's collar was to be tested for the killer's DNA. However, no further reports emerged as to if the police were able to find anything of use. In 2004, a 43-year-old man was arrested in Somerset but was released without charge. In 2007, police again appealed to the public, hoping they would solve the case. He used to travel all over the north of England and Midlands, visiting clubs where he seemed to be well known to the DJs and door staff in Sheffield, Birmingham, Wolverhampton, and Manchester. 3 found guilty of kidnapping, but killer is still at large. In December 1999, 4 men were tried for the kidnapping of Alan Rosser at Carlisle Crown Court, and the 3 were convicted. Their motive for the crime was, apparently, money. £40,000 worth of equipment was stolen from Alan's garage. Investigators believed Alan owed a considerable sum of cash, possibly house in Aston Avenue, South Manchester. Johnson left school at the age of 16 in 1984. He began work as a window cleaner and glazier, but that did not last long. His mother stated, "I knew he was into something shady because you don't claim dole and drive around in a flash car." By 1990, Johnson was driving a Ford Sierra RS Cosworth, worth around £20,000. His grandmother knew Johnson was involved in illegal activities when her house was raided by police. Johnson refused to answer Winnie's questions about his criminal activities, telling her to mind your own bleeding business. Winnie Johnson said he was obsessive over clothing, often watching her ironing his clothes. Johnson had a girlfriend by the time he was in his late teens, and they later had a daughter together. He befriended Tony Mackay, often called Black Tony, as well as the Eight Toro brothers, who would later be famous for their shootout with police on the M6 in April 2000, leading to Olatunde Jacob Adeotoro's 8 back-to-back life sentences. All of them were members of the Cheetham Hill Gang. They gradually became full-time members of the Hillbillies. The Cheetham Hillbillies operated in the Waterloo estate in the 1980s and 1990s. The gang specialized in robberies, pushing drugs in clubs and violence. Johnson had been involved in the Cheetham Hill Gang for years prior to his death. Johnson began as a low-key member of the gang, often committing robberies and gang member killings. His nickname, White Tony, was a reference to his race, while in a predominantly black gang. He killed 26-year-old Anthony Sketch Gardner on Saturday, the 9th of January 1988. He became the driver and bodyguard for the then leader of the Cheetham Hill Billies, ferrying him around in a Ford Sierra Cosworth. In 1990, Johnson was spotted by police with semi-automatic firearms. This was a major discovery by the police, as they previously had little knowledge of the weapons and equipment used by gangs in Manchester. The police began multiple operations to seize guns and drugs from the hillbillies, with little impact. At a New Year's party in 1991, 22-year-old Johnson threatened some of Damian Noonan's successors. Johnson was already in trouble with members of the Noonan family because of a dispute over the division of the spoils from a £362,000 security van robbery at Mumps Bridge, Oldham, in November 1990. Johnson was shot in the car park of the Penny Black pub in February 1991. Desmond Noonan was tried and acquitted for the murder.